Hey all, it's Lawrence from Express Unity and welcome back to the multiplayer FPS tutorial series. Now today I figured we will start adding some animations into the game before we start some gameplay, just so we can get something that looks visually pleasing to look at. So at the start of the tutorial series, I believe I ended up getting I ended up downloading a character. I'm not sure if it's this one here. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, so oops, don't know what I opened. Okay, yeah, so we're going to be using this character. Again, go back to the first video to see in the asset store what it is I downloaded. Just a free character. So how we're going to do this is we're going to move over to the free-for-all game mode. And just zoom in onto the plane a bit, and we're going to drag this prefab out. Alrighty, so it's got a few scripts attached to it. We don't really want anything from it. Probably got the guns on it as well. No. Okay. Seems fine. We shouldn't need to do much to it other than add a controller. So I'm gonna go and create a new folder called Animations, and I'm going to create a new animation controller. I'll just call it Player, and I'm going to drag that onto the current soldier's animator. Now what we want to do is set this up with his current animations. So we have his animations folder here, and he has a few animations that we can use. So he has a walk. I'm not sure if we can see this. What we can do is we should be able to drag the model in. So if we lock this and then go to, where was the model? I think it's here. Okay, it doesn't want to do it. Oh well. Oh, there we go. Alright, so you just want to click on the animations tab up here, sorry, and then drag the prefab in, and then you should be able to just preview the current animation. Might be a bit small for you to see, but there you go. There's his walking animation. We should be able to go to his, if he has a run. So let's just unlock that. There we go. Now all of these has set to his animations. Alright, sweet. So let's start creating our animations. So we want to create some parameters here. So the first one we're going to create will be a float, and I'm just going to call it move with a capital M. And then we want to create an idle. So that will be just this here. Let me just take a look at what it is. Yeah, it looks alright. So I'm just going to set make transition from any state, and then we're going to just give an exit time, and we'll make the exit time 1. And then the condition will be if move is less than 0.1, then it will play the idle. Now what we want is to create a new blend tree, and I'm going to call this move. And then we might, let's just do this. Let's set move as the default layer. Let's then double click on that blend tree and add a few motion fields. So we want 3. And then for the first motion, we want idle. we're gonna need to get the actual clip like that. So idle, then we want the walk, and then we want run. So if we go ahead and play this, and then we drag this move slider, he will slowly transition from the idle to walk, and then to running. So that's how we can make transitions from different animations. And then simply changing this move value inside our code will change what he does. So if it's 0, he's stopped and he's playing his idle. And then as he moves, he'll start to walk, and then he'll start to run. Awesome. So that should be it for the animator. We have, yep, we've got it all set. Now what we are gonna do is add a new capsule collider, and we're just gonna position this. Oops, not that big. We're just gonna position this. I mean, it's already a pretty perfect size for him, so just like that around his body. We don't really need collision on the arm. We're not gonna be focusing on any like headshot mechanics or anything like that in this game. Just for now, getting collision working and setting up a proper character is what we're going to be doing. So now what we want is to actually add our player. What one did I make? It's not that one. Alright, just go to our scripts folder, and then network, and then the player. Okay, I called it movement. So we're gonna have to set all this up again. So, whoops. The left will be A, right will be D, forwards will be W, and back will be S. And the camera, so we want to create a new camera on him. And move it up, do space. And if we look, there we go, pretty good. So I kind of want to be able to let the player look down and see his own body, right? So hard to see because this is white. So I'm gonna quickly make a new material for our ground. I don't think we have a materials folder, so I'm going to create a new materials folder. And I'm just going to call this material round, and I'll give it a dark, flat, matte kind of look. Alright, there it is. So if we go back to this camera, you'll see we have this box. And this here, the start little square, is basically where the camera starts looking from, right? So if we put this in his face, you can see once we clip the nose, it'll start rendering in the nose. But if we put it close to him and we start looking down, it'll start clipping into him. And that's not what we want, right? If we undo this and we move the origin back to like the center of his head, we want to change the near. So it's maybe like a 0.2. That's still in 0.5, still in a little. 0.7 might be good, maybe move it out just a tad. So now if we rotate down, we can see our body. Let's change that to like a 0.5. We probably don't want to be looking down that far anyway, so like maybe there is a good distance. So yeah, now the near and looking up, we can flip. So let's just undo all of that. I think I might want the camera maybe out a little more. And then the near, I mean, that might just be good enough like that. Give it a shot. Oh, that's not the right rotation. I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. We could even move it a little bit closer and even to where his eyes are. And then once this rotates, see the top of his hat. Okay. Alright, that's enough fiddling around with that. Now we just want to pass the camera through there. And this is going to be just a prefab inside that. Now we want to make a few changes to the script. Oh, before we do that, sorry, we're gonna need the photon view. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Photon view. And we're gonna want a photon animator view and a photon transform view. Actually, no. We made our own synchronized script. So that's what we're going to be using. So remove the transform view. And I made one called Super Sync. All values should be pretty fine. So layer 1 we're going to change to discrete on the animator view. And for the move synchronized parameter, we're going to change that to discrete as well. So we're going to add 2 observable components. First one is going to be Super Sync. Second one is going to be our animator view. Awesome. So we can just apply this and edit our current movement script. Alrighty, so first thing we want is to make a private animator. And one thing I've noticed is my text might be a little bit small in the video, so I might just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a bit better. Maybe like that is a good amount for you guys. So private animator, and in the start what we want is to say, actually up here underneath body, we'll say game object. First, sorry, we want to say anim and then get component rather, and then we want to get the animator component. Great, now we can get those animations into play. So when we move like this, we want to set the parameter to 1. However, when we hold shift or something that will allow us to run faster, we want to set that differently. So what we can do is just trying to think here. It might not play the animation correctly if we set the float like so. It might loop, but we'll give it a shot. But if we set the float, not float like that, we want to set move, which is a float. And if we set it okay, sorry about that. If we set it to, I believe 0.5 is the walking. So if we set all of this to 0.5, and then if we just do else if input dot get key up, and then we want to say left, and we basically want to do this for all the keys now. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so this is left, this one's going to be right. This one is going to be forwards. And this one is going to be backwards. Alright. Oops. That. So then when the key is up, we basically want to set it to 0. Okay, so that should play the idle, it should play the run. Just in case, what we can do is set the animation to 0 over here, just so it starts off in idle. And then we can do something like, where's the forwards over here? So this one here. Basically, if you want to get key, for now we'll just do this, input dot, no, not that, sorry. We want a keycode dot shift, and we'll make that an actual configurable value a bit later on. But for testing, we'll just do this. Now we want to set move to 1, which is the full run speed, and we might even just plus the current move speed by, I don't know, 30. And we're going to want to put that in brackets like so, and then basically we want to set this back to walk when we let go. Okay, so I think that should do it. So we'll just go in here, just check if we have all the components we need, which I believe we do. The camera, I believe, needs to be set to false for active. So let's apply that. Then in the game manager, we want... wait. Where do I... Up here, it's in the free-for-all script. There it is. Oh, okay. What's it called, actually? So in the resources... Oh, soldier. Alright. So, again, name it whatever you like, but we're going to just put this as a soldier. Save that. And if we go to... We don't need to log in or anything like that, because we don't really have any logic that sets our usernames yet. But if we just go to the first photon scene... Oh yeah, make sure you save the scene as well. And we'll just give this a play. We join. Oh, where's the... Okay, bit weird. Okay, so you can see we are animating. Camera might be a bit close to the face. But we are in idle. And if we... Okay. Oh, of course. The one thing that we do need is a rigid body. So in the resources soldier, we want to add a rigid body, and I'll probably give it a drag of 2. Oh, and make sure we freeze the rotation. Alrighty, so let's play that again. Alright, so we walk. There it is. And now walk. Oh, okay. I was going really fast. But yeah, we're walking. If I hold shift, we're now running. Awesome. So a little bit of bugs, but we're getting there. One thing we are going to do, so I'm going to change the soldier, and we're going to go to the rig and find where his head is. So that's his neck. So that's his head. We're actually going to parent the camera to his head. And we're just going to move the camera out a bit. And we're going to apply. So this will move the camera with all the head bobbing and stuff. Might not look that pretty at first, but it's just how we're going to do things. So yeah, we can remove that. And really quick, just so I don't go flying off the map, guess I'll make the move speed 10. Okay, so you can see that my head is now moving and swaying with the animation, and I can also just rotate my body and whatnot, look up and down just fine. So if we start walking, you can see the camera sway with the animation. If we start running, okay, that's really fast. So you can see when we when we press W, we walk, and let go, it goes back to the idle. When we run and let go of the run, we go back to walk. Then when we let go, but if we run and let go of W and then we let go of shift, you can see it's stuck in the run animation. So honestly, the quickest fix for this would be to just change when the run, instead of setting it back to walk, you can just set it back to idle, and then if it's currently walking, it should just immediately set it. So that should be a quick fix, and that should be it. We should now have all those animations synchronized. And that's because of this very handy photon component called Photon Animator View. So we might need to build it again because I believe it was still compiling. Alrighty. Just log in and test how this goes. Right, and join. Move this guy back a bit. There you go, animation is being synchronized. Then if I, this guy, that guy, the other guy is idling, so looking away, but running should work. There it is, super fast, but running does work. Now if we switch to the other guy, he's looking away, still looking away. And there you go. All our animations are synced. Alright. So, we now have a nice... another problem is we have get key for else if. We want to get key up. It's kind of wondering what was still stopping. So there, that should completely fix it. We now have the camera which sways, which basically moves with the head, right? And that does get a little annoying. So it's been so long since I used this, but we can actually manipulate that particular bone. I might have to show you guys in another video because I can't quite remember. It's something to do with the IK position. But yeah, it's been so long since I've actually used this. We have get and set IK position. What parameters does it take? After IK goal. Right, okay. So we can set the hands and feet, but we can't set the head, which is a bit of a shame. That's it might be a really weird way we could do this. So void late update, and let's get the public game object for the head, and then we want to say head dot game object. No, it's already a game object, so we don't need to do that. But transform dot position be equal to vector 3.0. So that should set the head. We'll give it a shot. It might be very jittery and not work, but we'll see. If it doesn't work again, I'll just get back to you on the next tutorial because I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's working as is. And we're gonna need to drag this back out in order to view the rig again. So spine, and then we want to get to the neck, and there's our head. So in our movement script, we just want to drag the head, and then we'll just apply that. So let's just give this a quick play and see if our head stops rotating because of the idle animation. Okay, oops. Doesn't seem to be... Yeah, okay. That's a bit of a shame. Thought that might have worked, but yeah, it was a long shot. Yeah, so we now have our animator that's synchronized across all players. You can change these animations to whatever you like. Next episode, I'll get back to you on how we can stop the head from rotating around because of the idle, which would just make it a lot better. We only want the camera to like follow the head position, not so much its rotation, because otherwise then we get the camera looking around in idle, and that does get really annoying. So, another thing we could simply do is not have the camera parented to the head. Rather, when we run or move, when the player's actual body tilts, we can just move the camera forwards a little, and that should fix our problems. But yeah, I kind of want to do it this way because it's just much better in my opinion, having it parented to the bone of the animation. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode. Again, next video, I'll try and get back to you guys on that little problem that we have. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you do, helps me out a great deal. And please remember that we do have a Discord server. So if anyone wants to join and get a little bit of extra help, I'm happy to help anyone. And yeah, that's it for this video. And I'll see you guys all in